So a little bit about Wish Wonder Dream. We are in our 5th year of business, and this year for 2011 we were voted Best of the Knot. That is a huge honor for us because it not only is an award given based on who we are as a company, but it's also given based on reviews that we've had from past clients. So that's a really special award. We're really proud of that one. We are also members of the Better Business Bureau. We maintain an A+ rating, always had. It's their highest rating, so that's important to us too. We're members of the Association of Bridal Consultants, and I actually passed their training program with honors. We are featured vendors with Get Married, My Wedding, Wedding Channel, and The Knot. And this year we're actually teaming up with Get Married. Coming in the spring, we're going to be co-hosting a cocktail hour for industry professionals. We're going to be inviting about 5,000 plus guests, so it's going to be huge, and we're really looking forward to that. We also run a blog called The Bride Spot, bridespot.com, and My Little Wish, which is custom stationery. And finally, we're actually going to be opening up a new company, kind of branching off from Wish Wonder Dream, where we offer weddings and coordination services for people who are interested in being married abroad. So how did we get into this industry? Well, I began with ArcLight Cinemas. It was the very first one, opened in 2001. It launched in Hollywood. And I was pulled from Pacific Theaters, they have the same parent company, and asked to join the management team at ArcLight and specialize in their events. So with ArcLight, I did corporate events, private screenings, big premieres, multi-million-dollar budgets. It was fabulous, I loved it. Except I started noticing really that the events didn't have a lot of heart. You know, they kind of began and ended, and there was never really any connection, any kind of sentimental anything. It was all just very, corporate, very professional. And so I really wanted to do something that had a lot more emotion and heart and meant something to people. So we started Wish Wonder Dream about 5 years ago. I did with my partner, Daniel. And in 2007, our event assistant, Nita, joined our team, and she's also our resident makeup artist. And we have another event assistant, Caitlin, who began in 2007, and she's also an aspiring photographer. And we're going to be bringing one more member to the team this wedding season, so you'll have to stay tuned for details on him or her. In the Los Angeles area, the average wedding budget is probably about $30,000 to $40,000, which is pretty hefty, and we certainly do budgets that are much higher than that. We do weddings in the hundreds of thousands. But we also do budgets that are lower than that. We're actually currently working on a wedding now with a $10,000 budget. So any budget is possible, and we really pride ourselves on our ability to work with a great many budgets. We by no means specialize in celebrity weddings or high budget weddings. We kind of really want to be able to be approachable and work with anyone with any budget. So we have a huge Rolodex of vendors which we can look to and make referrals for vendors based on what your needs are, what your budget is, and just kind of what your preferences are. So we go to that Rolodex and we can make referrals based on all those different factors and work with any size budget. So that's really what our goal is, and I think we meet it pretty well. We never accept payments from vendors in return for client referrals, ever. First of all, it's against the policy of the Association of Bridal Consultants, so we can't do that. But more importantly, I actually majored in ethics in college, and it's really important as a business owner, as someone that prides myself in owning Wish Wonder Dream, that I maintain a certain level of integrity. And I think that accepting kickbacks completely goes against that. It really actually hurts wedding coordination as an entire industry. So if I make a referral to a client, it's going to be because I have worked with the vendor before, I trust the vendor, I stand behind their services, and nothing feels better to me than when a client says, I'm so happy with the vendors that you have referred to me that I don't even need to meet them anymore. If you tell me that they're a great photographer, I will take your word for it, and they can just show up at my wedding. And a lot of the times for making repeat recommendations to the same vendor, the vendor will offer discounts to my clients. And that feels great. I love it when I can give one of my clients an invoice that reflects a 10-20% discount for Wish Wonder Dream. It's great, but we always pass the savings on to the client. So what is a coordinator? Well, that's a tough question to answer. That might be the toughest question to answer because we wear a lot of hats. We act as financial advisors. One of the first things that we do when a client signs up with us is we help them establish their budget. They come in here and say, this is how much we want to spend, and we'll divvy up the different aspects of your wedding and figure out how much to allocate to each different area. It's also a process that keeps on going. So as you come back, as you're booking your vendors, you're gonna say, well, this is how much we actually spent on flowers. And if we have money left over, we're gonna reallocate it. If we went a little bit over budget, then we're gonna take it out of another category. So we're gonna help you with that and just make sure that your dollars are being spent the best way possible. We also act as etiquette counselors and sometimes even family therapists. There is going to be kind of inherent drama involved. It just can't really be avoided. For example, sometimes people have questions about the etiquette of certain wording on an invitation to let your guests know that it's going to be adults only. Or maybe talking to a mother who has a different idea of what the day is going to be like. How to talk to a best man who maybe is dealing with his own breakup and is kind of putting a damper on your event because he's being a little unsupportive. So it's little things like that, and so we kind of intervene and try and counsel and offer advice and guidance whenever possible. We're gonna act as your friend. We're gonna be there jumping up and down with you when you find your perfect dress, or maybe help you with some pre-wedding jitters. Just walking down the aisle could be a little bit stressful, so we're there for you. We act as seamstresses or dry cleaners when maybe your bustle comes undone, or Uncle Tom maybe leans forward and accidentally spills his Diet Pepsi on your wedding dress. Vendor managers, we're there, we're making sure that the timeline's being used, that all the vendors are on the same page, that the flow is kind of smooth and that things are going the way that you had anticipated them going. So yeah, we wear a lot of hats, and the number of hats we wear really varies based on the package you choose, but that's kind of in a nutshell what a coordinator is. Let's think. My forecast for coming trends. First of all, in colors. Silver has been an accent color for quite some time, and it's a great one. It really pairs well with pretty much everything. But I have a feeling we're gonna see a little bit less of silver. And my forecast for the next accent color is champagne. It pairs well with everything, but it adds a little more warmth than silver does, like a feeling of romance and just softness. And so I think it's gonna be a really popular color. It's absolutely one of my favorites. As far as big main colors for wedding decor, we're seeing a lot of purple. Purple kind of is the it color of the season, and it's great. There's a lot of different kinds of purple. You can go all the way from lavender into a more medium purple, into the dark royal purples. So it's a great, great color to play with. But my guess, my prediction for the coming wedding season is actually the color I'm wearing. It's this kind of deep green. Pairs well with champagne. So that's just me putting it out there. I just kind of have a feeling that emerald green is going to be the next big color. And I also think that we're going to see less candy stations, which are a great idea because who doesn't love candy? And who doesn't love the idea of being able to pick their favorites and take it home with them as a favor? So they're great, but I have a feeling we're going to see different kinds of stations. Sundae bars are great. Specialty chocolate. Your guests can come up and choose a truffle, maybe pair that with a really good cup of coffee, or maybe a port wine, something like that. So yeah, stations like that with different desserts, different things that guests love, and it also just gives them something to do if maybe your guest doesn't want to necessarily sit at the table, but maybe isn't so big at dancing, or maybe wants to take a break from dancing. It's just another activity for your guests, something else for them to immerse themselves in. So I think we're going to see more of those. So some of the trends that I'm seeing a lot lately and really like are kind of the idea of infusing sophistication in settings that you wouldn't normally think of as being particularly sophisticated. For example, I love the idea of having kind of this classy, elegant, almost like a tea party setting in the middle of a forest. I know it's weird. I know it sounds kind of strange and unusual, but if you do it right, it's great. It's really great. So I love that trend. Another trend that I'm seeing a lot lately is just kind of thinking outside the box when it comes to your venue. I love hotels. I love resorts. They're great. I have absolutely nothing against them. But sometimes it's kind of cool to think of other places that you might want to get married. Think about your own interests, your own hobbies, places that you met, things that you love doing together. For example, last year we worked with a couple who met at a comic book fair. They were really into comics and they were really into science. So we ended up doing their wedding at the Page Museum at the La Brea Tar Pits. We took over the museum, we did kind of a cocktail hour style wedding, and we went crazy. We really, really, really got creative with their venue. I paired them with a florist that was really able to bring the vision to life. She found flowers that were imported from all over the world, these really exotic, kind of old looking flowers, these really cool orchids and things like that. Almost ancient looking. They looked about as old as the bones in the tar pits. She even did a large living arrangement at the entrance where there were Venus flytraps and hermit crabs. And I know that that's certainly not for everyone, but it was definitely for them. Completely outside of the box and completely unlike an event that any of their guests had ever been to before. So we love that. It was definitely a blast bringing that together with them. One other trend that I've been seeing a lot and love are photo booths. Photo booths are great. I love them because it allows you to get to see two sides of your guests. From your professional photographer, you're gonna get pictures of your guests where they're kind of mild-mannered, formal, well-behaved, and it's always nice to have those pictures. But the photo booth is gonna give you another side of your guests. They're gonna let loose, they're gonna get wild, they're gonna get crazy and have fun, they're gonna put on the props, they're gonna wear the glasses, wear the funny hats, and just get loose, and you're gonna see a side of them that you didn't see from the professional photography. So when you take the pictures from the photo booth and the shots taken by your professional photographer and you put them all together, it's just such a nice summary of what was an amazing event.